Good morning, and welcome to the fifth edition of Cafe Diem with Tina Ann. I'm your hostess, Tina Ann. Now, yesterday we talked about the power of your thoughts and the importance of controlling your thoughts, and I said today I was going to tell you a story about how I used a technique like this. So grab your coffee this morning, or your tea, or your hot chocolate, or your whatever warm beverage that you enjoy, and I'm going to tell you a story. So about 20 years ago, I was in the process of moving to California. I lived in the Midwest. I was offered a job. The job included a relocation package for my family, and I was very excited. So I came to California first to start working with the family stayed in the Midwest, with the idea that I would find a house and then they would come out here to follow me. So things went on. Everything was good. I went back and forth to the Midwest, to California, but no house. It was a really tough housing market. This was back at the beginning of a boom. So houses were selling for more than their list price. People would go to the house to see it, and there'd be two people fighting over the house and paying more than list price or bidding on the contract. So it was a tough real estate market, and I was not having some luck. And so I started to worry, what if I can't find a house in time for my deadline? The relocation package had a deadline. And what if I couldn't find this house? So the deadline was approaching. Life was really busy. I was working. I was flying back and forth. In the meantime, my refrigerator was going out at home, and you need all your money to buy a new house. Just praying, just last until we get into the new house. My little daughter calling me all the time, Mom, I want to take piano lessons. When can I get a piano? I need to take piano lessons. Life is frantic, and in all of this, I need to find a house. So I found myself worrying about this, and I know worrying is not productive. So what I did was I sat down and I made a list. I made a list of all the things I needed to find in a house. So at this point, I have 5 kids. So I needed 4 to 5 bedrooms in that house. I needed it to be more than 2,000 square feet. There was a lot of us. We needed a lot of space. I needed my house to be close to schools. I had kids in elementary school, junior high, and high school at this time, and it's so important as a mom that you can be close to school. You never know when you've got to run to school for a teacher's conference or pick up a sick kid or, see a first grade play. You can't miss those things. So I literally took a protractor. Remember your old protractor? And I measured out 5 miles, and I drew a circle around where I was working. 5 miles. It had to be within that 5-mile radius. It needed a backyard. I had a lot of kids, and they needed a place to play. And so it needed to have a backyard. It needed to be we needed to be close to the schools, close to work, 4 to 5 bedrooms, 2,000 square feet, a backyard for the kids, and, well, if it had a pool, that would be pretty cool too, right? So goes on. I'm looking for houses every weekend. It's a tough market. I'm not finding anything. But every time I'd start to worry about my deadline, I would just pull out my list. I'd pull out my list. I would read it through it. I would imagine the house that I loved was out there waiting for me, and on I would go with my day. Well, it was getting late, and my employers were bugging me about, we got to close this relocation out. What's going on? So I scheduled the movers. Didn't have a house yet, but I thought, well, this has to happen. So I am having faith that we're going to find the house. My house is waiting for me. I knew every time I read my list, I said to myself, the perfect house is out there waiting for me. I just haven't found it yet. And I would read that list and focus on those things. So I called the movers. It was the weekend before the move, the move that was going to be scheduled. And I still didn't have a house, and I was panicking, well, what do I have to call the movers and reschedule them? But I was really dedicated to this process. So each time I would say to myself, I won't entertain that thought. I'm going to find a house, and it's going to find me. So the weekend before the deadline came, I got a call from my realtor. She said, hey, this house was just listed. I know the owner. They haven't put it on the MLS yet. It's just gone on the market. Are you available right now to go look at it? So yes, of course I was. So I went out and I drive up, and here is this house. And it is, let's just say, needs a little TLC. Hadn't been painted for a long time. The yard, not in good shape. We walked inside, and renters lived there, and they were not happy that the house was being sold, and they were smokers, and they had, let's just say, a lot of stuff. So the house was not being presented as a brand new for sale home, but kind of a house that needed some work. The realtor kept apologizing and saying, I know this doesn't look great, but, and all I could see was this. It was 2,000 square feet. It was 5 bedrooms. It was 4.4 miles to my work. It was walking distance to elementary school, junior high, and high school. There was not much of a backyard because the entire backyard was filled with a pool, but the home was right next door to a park. And I was amazed that every single item on my list was provided for me there. So we put an offer on the house, and you know how that 30 days goes when you're waiting to close and you're excited, but you just don't believe it's really going to happen. And I was worried, was this the right move? I'm buying this old house. It's kind of a beat up house. It needs a lot of work. And I took a friend of mine over there to just peek in the windows while we were waiting to close. The house was empty. And like I said, was worried about, did I make the right decision? I wasn't sure. So I took a friend over there to show the house, and we peeked into the windows, and I said, what's in that house? What's in that house? I see some things in the house. There were 2 things in the house. One was a refrigerator, and one was a piano. So that was our house. So that's my story for today, my friends. Just the idea that the power of your thoughts, I can't guarantee an outcome. Having a positive thought and focusing on a positive outcome does not guarantee that outcome, of course. But it does set the wheels in motion. It does relieve you from having to worry. It does create the cosmic energy that starts a chain of events that will get you to your goal eventually if you continue to hold that thought importantly in the forefront and infused with emotion in your head. Now, this is a topic we're going to be talking a lot about, so I hope this makes sense to you. I hope you like the story. Again, email me directly at tinaann@cafediem with tinaann.com. Love to hear from you. Love to understand what you'd like to hear or what you'd like to talk about. Love to hear your comments. And that's our show for today. Thanks.